until you meet somebody, you don't know they exist. So there's a lot of resistance.
Yeah.
The first time you meet somebody, stranger danger, are you a threat? Are you not? Whatever. That's all part of the no. Well, then once you get past the I know you exist, then there's this long gray area called like. And you have to decide, do I like the person? If I like the person, how much do I like the person? Why do I like the person? Do I like the person because they like me? Do I like the person because I like them? And then you have all these weird head politics that happen too about like, oh, am I giving them power? If I show them that I like them, am I taking too much power? Am I being unfair? But essentially, the step after like is something called trust. And trust is something that nobody wants to give away, but frankly, every human being gives it away too fast. So once you understand the process, you can have a conversation with anybody and like with a high win rate, you can get them to trust you. The reason that they're lying to you is because they trust that you're not going to catch them in their lie.
Yeah.
Right. So all you've done, and you've done it with this, clearly a very natural skill of just kind of quietly listening and observing, which is a non-threatening thing to do. So they're just pouring themselves out in front of you, and then they're getting even more emboldened to tell you lies, and then they're saying things they shouldn't say. You're catching them because they're not even corroborating their own story. You have what's known as informational superiority in that situation. So they're stuck. They've exposed too much, and you own the conversation.
Oh wow! I didn't even know there was like a term for it. That's crazy.
There you go.
Information superiority, brother.
Wow.
So with interrogations, right? And I think this was recently declassified, especially after the 9/11 attacks, and they caught a bunch of people, and they were using something called enhanced interrogation techniques. Can you talk about that? What it is, an overview, and some of the techniques that they use besides the famous waterboarding?
Yeah, I mean, I can, but if you're talking about getting canceled by YouTube, they're going to cancel the shit out of this conversation.
Yeah, well, it's okay. We can talk about it broadly to a degree. I think the people, because people tend to think like, oh yeah, they're just torturing them, whatever. But there's a method to the madness.
Enhanced interrogation, those methods were brought out of the Army Field Manual for how we teach our own people SEER.
And what the SEER stand for?
SEER stands for Survival, Escape, Resistance, and Evasion.
Yeah.
Right? SEER school. So basically, every enhanced interrogation tool came out of the Army Field Manual for how U.S. citizens train other U.S. citizens to resist torture. So, like, we do it to ourselves. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you're a sergeant and I'm like an enlisted person in the Army, and I'm going through SEER school, you're going to use all of those techniques on me so that I get the experience of what it's like to be tortured by a foreign adversary. So you're slapping my stomach. You're pushing me up against the wall. You're withholding sleep. You're waterboarding, whatever it's going to be, right? You're doing these things to me so that I understand as an American soldier what types of threats I will be exposed to if I'm ever captured.
Wow.
But for some reason, when we do it to ourselves, we see it as training. When we take those exact same tools and we apply them in an interrogation technique, somehow now that we're doing it to foreign terrorist suspects, now it's considered torture.